You know what? I always notice that I come up with different perspectives in this game to try to let people see certain things. I'm like freaking Inspector Gadget when it comes to this game, right? So you know what we're not going to talk about today? We're not going to talk about the forbidden word, which is no content, okay? But wait, I broke the rule. You guys don't talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it either, but I had to let you know, okay? This is going to be a very interesting video, and I want you guys to pay attention. So as always, homies, we back with the foolishness. Now you guys know what I want. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section, because this video about to be lit. Let's go. Okay, so let's start off by saying this. The game's too great to fail. The only way to fail Warframe right now is by failing its player base, okay? That's number one, okay? And kind of failing based on the perception of how great we know that this game could actually be and not meeting those requirements, okay? That's an absolute fact right there. That goes for anything in life, with how good you can be versus how good you actually are, okay? Not meeting your potential, all right? So now that we got that out the way, we already know the game's great and it's in a different avenue right now. But what am I going to talk about with this, okay? The deflecting. Let me tell you guys something. You guys remember how I always talked and preached about endgame? Have you guys noticed that Warframe, out of all the popular looter shooters out there, just the popular ones, the ones who are still making it completely relevant, out of all the looter shooters, Warframe's the only one without difficulty. And I sat here and I pondered while I unbuttoned the top button on my muscle shirt, and I said to myself, "Ay chihuahua, what the heck?" Every other looter shooter introduces difficulty. But one thing with Warframe is that they don't want difficulty, because every time you bring up difficulty, they deflect with this word. Warframe doesn't need to be a Dark Souls type of difficulty. No one wants that. Well, shut up. No one is saying it needs to be Dark Souls, okay? No one wants it to be Dark Souls, okay? What we're saying is, make my weapons and my formas seem useful, okay? Now, one thing we all know in Warframe is that it's a game that's all about, like, it's so overpowering to the enemies that it doesn't even feel fair. You don't need to use everything at your disposal to try to take down enemies and your foes. It's so simple, it's so easy. And that's the problem, is because it then becomes brain dead. It becomes brain dead. And one thing with Warframe, the biggest issue that's coming back to bite them in the butt right now. I had to make a dog sound, my bad. Okay, so look. What's coming back to bite them in the butt right now is replacing difficulty with grinding. They replace difficulty by making grinding difficult. And I'm like, wait a minute, you sacrificed the key functionality part in a video game to replace it with grinding, needless and tireless grinding. Have you guys noticed how insane the grinding is in Warframe? Now, nobody wants it to be Dark Souls, but there needs to be a part in every single game like Warframe to where the difficulty is there for you to test your weapons, for you to actually come up with different scenarios on how you're going to get that objective finished, okay? That's just point blank, period. Okay, you have your Path of Exile with your difficulty, you have your Remnant with your difficulty, you have your Destiny with its difficulty. Even though it's a dead game, Anthem had its difficulty, right? Every single game has that difficulty because that difficulty raises the player base to a different stature for different level of players, okay? We're all on the same page here, all right? Cool. No one is saying it needs to be Dark Souls, but it needs to be there, okay? Next thing is, right, keeping the players. You cannot keep players who've been in the game for a long time, and this word gets overused. And a couple words I'm going to tell you guys get misjudged a lot. The word veteran, okay? Listen here, dumb avocados. If you're a newer player or you're a daily average player, you're going to become a veteran. You can't escape being a veteran. You just fall into the pool by how long you've been playing. So you're going to be there as well. It's not a word that says that I'm better than you. It's just literally the status of where you are currently in the game right now, okay? Most of all the veterans, 99.876.85% of them, are literally bored and have nothing to do. You will hit that lane. Doesn't matter what you say, you will hit that lane. It's like getting old. You can't get away from it, okay? Now, every single other game that's a looter shooter, the popular ones, all have difficulty. What does that difficulty bring? The difficulty brings in more interest to the game. It makes it to where It's something that you can watch on YouTube, something that you can watch on Twitch, something that your friends can be engaged with, something that people feel like, oh my God, let me learn how to do this. That's just what difficulty brings to every video game, right? You have games like Apex and everything else that have all of this. And sometimes difficulty is based on PvP, the PvP aspect. And for a lot of people in Warframe, they don't understand that PvP is continuous content. The content is versus other players. So whenever you're going up against that other player, you never really have the same outcome. The difficulty is playing another human player. And that's the content. A lot of people don't understand that you can't compare things like Warframe to a game like Destiny that has the PvP in different aspects. So you're always going to be able to feed different type of players. Warframe's problem is that it can only feed one type of player. And that's why people leave and they keep replacing with newer players, because it's one of those games that once you get past elementary school, you move on and you don't look back at the game anymore. You just go to another game because there's no longer anything there for you to learn. There's no longer anything there. You might go back to that elementary school just to visit your favorite teacher or something, but that's it. You don't really have nothing else to actually do and accomplish on that front. Next thing I want to talk about, right? Ooh, and it's just such an interesting way on how to look at this. It's going to be endgame. Let's go. The problem in Warframe is that the player base, the avocados, the people that's trash, they try to separate endgame to make it seem like it's for one part of the community, but not for everyone. Actually, endgame is for every single person, okay? There's endgame in Fashion Frame. There's people who color better than others, okay? You can't argue about that. These things are just naturally there. It's the endgame. It's in relationship. It's the endgame of the relationships, okay? So look, endgame is not blocked off to say it's for certain players that want endgame and some don't. Actually, everybody wants endgame in certain games that you play. Okay, so the thing about it is that the Warframe community try to make it seem like only veterans want endgame. Actually, no. People just want endgame, and it's used as the term endgame as in where is it that you're going to start using this higher level armor? Where is it that you're going to start using this 8th form of weapon that you have? Where is it that you're going to start using all of these things and synergies that you've actually came across the game out of all these years that you're going to start using and make sense of it? That's what endgame is. The content that's there along with the rewards. Oh, that hurt my chest. Why did my chest hurt so bad? Is it because of endgame? No. Rewards? Oh, rewards, yeah. Oh man, they don't know how to make that. But that's what endgame is. If you're a newer player and you speed boost and you level up yourself, you yourself can go to endgame. It's not just for veterans. That's how every game is set up. It's for everyone. As long as you can get there, you get your gear to that point, you go there. It's not to lock you off. And it's so weird to me how they try to make it seem like people who want endgame is against the community with everything else. No, it's for every single person, bro. Which is the weird part to me on how people always seem to try to keep it away, okay? We don't want it to be Dark Souls, okay? Warframe just don't know how to do this. Why? Because they've never been pushed. They've never been to the point of the community of like, oh my God, can we do this? And been held with accountability. They haven't been held with accountability, you know? And that's the problem with it. So Rebecca even asked Scott in the dev stream, she was like, Scott, hey Scott, do you think we ever gonna have endgame, Scott? And Scott was like,
well, Rebecca, you know, we don't know what they want, and so I don't know, we're just gonna try to surprise them.
First off, Scott, hey, Scott, no, you know what we want. We actually told you for years, but you just don't want to listen. So that was a big bold-faced lie, okay? And Rebecca keeps asking the same question. She's asked this question probably like 7 dev streams now. Have you guys noticed the rerun of what they do? They're worse than Nick at Night. If you guys remember Nick at Night, they're worse than Nick at Night. They repeat the same question just to ask the audience what they think, when in actuality, they're just playing you guys for fools. They keep verbatim for verbatim, they keep replaying the same questions just to get everybody hype. And like I said months and months ago, right? Endgame would make this game better because it's for everyone. It's not just for me. I can go to Endgame and probably get smacked, beat up, and not be good enough, okay? A newer player could probably speed through the game, level up, and go there. It's for casuals, it's for newer players, it's for veterans. Endgame in every single video game is that point to where of all the times and all the things that you didn't farm for, all the levels that you didn't put into something, it's gonna now take you to that point to where you unlock that next level and you're like, yo, I can do this now. It's the point of progression. There's no progression in the game. You progress to get to a higher level just to go backwards to go help newer players? That's stupid, right? You progress all that time to get to high level MR and it means nothing to you. You see what I'm saying? Like there's nothing. You get to a high point in Warframe to stand still. That is literally not worth anybody's time, right? So my number one thing is I'm always like, yo, I want everybody to get to a point to where they feel fulfilled and they keep playing through. Like when you play a game like WoW, you play a game like Destiny, you play a game like Path of Exile, play a game like Diablo, and even people try to deflect with Diablo, oh, enemies just keep getting tougher and you keep going through and it's the same thing. It's different though. It's different grind on how you go through a different thing with different builds on how these things work. There's no challenge in the game and you need to be honest with yourself. Instead of fighting against content to come in the game for everyone else, instead of you deflecting, just say that you don't like playing things that are actually difficult. And then the thing about it is you're not forced to play it. There's really anything in Warframe that you're actually forced to play, my guy. And when I see any video game replace difficulty with more grind and tedious things to do, that is worse than any difficulty I've ever seen in any video game, just to grind out mindlessly. Okay, and I've been noticing how they just keep reflecting back on these things. They keep replaying the same thing, the same questions most of the time through the dev stream. I'm like, wait a minute. If they don't respect their player base, their fan base, why the heck am I finna just start respecting them? And I'm very straightforward. I've never really cared what people actually think. I love to make a video about it. That's just my thing. But at the end of the day, bro, we gotta call it what it is. You're gonna see how many people that Warframe isn't failing. Shut up and understand where it's coming from. They're failing their player base by the way how they've been going about this game. I'm not gonna sit here. I'll call out every single game. I'll call out every game. If the game's doing good, it's gonna do good. But bro, you gotta tell the truth. These new Warframes and stuff that you're getting, you know, these vacuums, you know, rolling around on your ship, having the little guitar, dude, you cannot tell me that is something that would have cut it or be flown or be okay with in another video game. And you can't be mad at me, bro. If you love the game, it's sad because I'm telling some harsh truth. If you love the game, you're gonna be like, dang, I don't want to agree with Rio, but he kind of right. Dang it. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that I've been preaching about, but I've just been looking at it from a different way because I'm like, wait a minute, why is endgame separated in conversations? Why is difficulty when you talk about that separated in conversations to make it seem like it's a bad thing when it's actually for everyone? You see what I'm saying? Newer players are always going to get to the point to where we are at. We're at a standstill, so since we have no way to progress forward and we're just sitting here standing on our ships, newer players are flying in to come stand on their ships as well. It's a recurring factor, right? It's a downhill battle. You legit get to the top just to fall right back down, to go to sleep. And it's sad that the game is like that, but if you don't see the game is like that, then you're legit part of the problem. Because you can't feel like just when you become a veteran, your goal is to help newer players. Forget them! I want to keep playing. I don't want to stop to go babysit. No! You know how many people tell me,
Hey Rio, I didn't understand you, bro, but when I first started, but now I do because I'm there too.
it's all a misconception. You just got to get time to catch up to understand what people are actually going through. By the way, this video isn't for newer players. So as always, man, let me hear from you guys in the comment section, y'all. You guys are lucky today. I'm about to hit y'all with your Warframe ain't got no content. I ain't gonna keep doing that to y'all though. Y'all are good. Alright. I love y'all. Waiting on the new content for whenever they drop something. Cause you guys know I'm gonna be there to review it. If it's whack, it's I'm gonna be on their neck. If it's good, I'm gonna be like, oh, y'all actually might be on to something right now, alright? Now remember, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to drop a thumbs up. I love you guys. Take care. Have a great day. Remember, this is the second video today. Check out the rest of the other content. I'm always gonna be brutally honest, man. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. Love you guys. Take care and have a dope day.